There are two things that I just love about the Sigma 18-50 2.8. The size and the price. The performance of this small lens is amazing, but even the sun has its spots and there are also a few trade-offs and quirks. Let's find out if this lens is right for you. Stay tuned till the end and I will walk you through it. I've now had the Sigma 18-50 2.8 for about 6 months. And it's definitely the lens that has spent the most time on my camera since I got it. More than my Sony 18-105 and more than my Sigma Trio. The zoom range of 18-50mm is a very useful range and it's equivalent to 28-75 on a full frame camera. 18mm is a bit on the narrower side for handheld vlogging. It's 2mm narrower than the Sigma 16mm 1.4 and the Sony 16-55 2.8. But I have actually been able to take some landscape photos and architecture photos, so it's still a very capable zoom range. It has a constant aperture of 2.8, which makes it a fast standard zoom in a very small package. You have actually already seen some footage from it in my latest DJI Mini tutorial. The Sigma 18-50 2.8 is surprisingly small. It's very lightweight, only 290 grams, which is just fantastic. It's almost half the weight of the Tamron 70-70 F2.8. It's not really half, but almost. The lightweight gives it a plasticky feel, but the details are solid and the focus ring and the zoom ring feels more quality than the weight of the lens would suggest. The rings are actually really smooth. It's built in Sigma's TSC composite material, so it's not really just plastic, it's harder and more durable. The Sigma 18-50 2.8 is weather sealed, so I feel confident to use it in the rain and bring it to the beach. That really makes this a versatile lens, and it's definitely one of the reasons that it spent so much time mounted on my camera. It comes with a lens hood, which of course is great and useful in many situations, but here comes the first quirk alert. Maybe not for everyone, but at least for me. I tend to have my lens hood mounted backwards many times in order to save space in my bag and because I simply prefer the smaller profile. And the zoom ring and focus rings are placed the other way around than on Sony lenses. The zoom ring is in the front, so the lens hood partly covers the zoom ring, which is actually quite annoying in many situations. Other than that, you will soon get used to how the rings work, and it's just a bit different. The Sigma 18-50 2.8 has no built-in image stabilization. It can be worth mentioning that the competitor, Tamron 17-70 2.8, has that. I normally don't find the lens's stabilization very useful, so I use a tripod or a gimbal when I need stabilized footage. I'm very satisfied with the Sigma 18-50 2.8 focus performance overall. The autofocus is fast and accurate. It has an STM motor which is silent and works perfectly. It's not parfocal, which means you won't lose focus while zooming in and out. And as you can see, there's almost no focus breathing, which makes this lens great for video. The Sigma 18-50 2.8 has a very short minimum focusing distance. This means that you can take almost macro photos, not really macro but almost. This is very helpful for close-up product shots. I use it myself for product reviews on this channel, but also for general close-ups like nature and animals. Sometimes it's just fun to take close-up photos of household objects from different perspectives or photos of my car. The image quality of the Sigma 18-50 2.8 is great, especially given the small size and the price. I can't really think of any normal zoom that gives you a better bang for the buck. Check out links in the descriptions for the current price on Amazon. The Sony 16-55 2.8 is slightly sharper, but it has the same aperture and it's twice the price. The sigma center sharpness is there already at the aperture 2.8, but the corners can be a bit soft. At aperture 4 or aperture 8, the corners are also sharp. The sigma 18-50 2.8 has actually quite some distortion. Most prominent is the barrel distortion, which you can see in those examples. But this is very easy to correct in post, and if you shoot JPEG or videos, the camera will correct it for you. There is also some vignetting, but that is also very easy to correct in post. And the corrected result is actually very good, and I have been able to shoot architecture photos, and I haven't really been bothered about the barrel distortion. Something that is a bit more difficult to correct is the longitudinal chromatic aberration. It is very prominent at aperture 2.8, but once you step it down to aperture 4 or aperture 8, you won't see much of it. The sigma 18-50 2.8 has 7 rounded diaphragm blades. It has an aperture of 2.8, which is fast for a zoom lens. You can see the shape of the bokeh here, and you can also see the shape of flares here. The aperture 2.8 is constant, so you won't get any change in your exposure when you are zooming, which is great for videos. The sigma 18-50 2.8 is extending a bit when you are zooming, but since it's so lightweight, it has never caused me any problems, and I don't need to rebalance it when I'm using my gimbal. Overall, this is a great lens, and I will now summarize the pros and cons. It's a really small and lightweight normal zoom. The aperture 2.8 is constant through the whole zoom range, which is great for video. It has great center sharpness already from aperture 2.8. It has very good corner-to-corner sharpness from about aperture 5.6. The minimum focusing distance is surprisingly good, and you can take really cool close-up photos. The autofocus is silent and fast, and it's tracking really good at continuous autofocus. It has no focus breathing and no focus shift when zooming. It is weather sealed. It has smooth and easily controlled rings. It comes with a lens hood. And the cons: it has no image stabilization. It has a prominent barrel distortion, even if it's easy to correct. It has longitudinal chromatic aberration, and the lens hood is covering the zoom ring when it's flipped backwards. So as you can see, there are a lot more pros than cons, and if I would weight those capabilities and features, I would say that there are a lot more pros. So for me, this lens is a no-brainer. I use it a lot. It's very affordable, and it has a useful zoom range. And I hope that this video will help you to understand if this is a lens for you. If you have any questions about this lens, leave me a comment down below. And if you found this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up. That really helps me building my channel and doing more videos like this. Thanks for watching.